Hi, my name is Pat O'Connor. I'm the broker owner of the Veritas Real Estate Group. We're located in Coral Springs. And if you have watched some of my other videos, you know that occasionally I like to do a video on things that, activities and attractions that I personally like. In the past, I've spoken about how we're a great hub for adventures and getaways, that we have 3 international airports in the area, and cruise ships make their home here in Fort Lauderdale as well as in Miami. But I forgot to tell you about the ferry. So this past Friday, I got on the ferry. It leaves at 9 a.m. It's supposed to leave at 9 a.m. And it's a 2-hour trip to Bimini. And then once you're in Bimini, the cab fare is $5 per person to go anywhere on the island. So Neil Watson Dive Shop has a Hammerhead Safari, and that's what the thumbnail is, dive trip that you can take. You can go out on the morning dive, afternoon dive if you're arriving by ferry, and then still be back in time to catch the 6 p.m. ferry back to Fort Lauderdale. So what is this Hammerhead ferry? So you go out on the boat and to a site where the hammerheads know that you're going to come. They put bait on the water and it drifts out on the current and they catch the scent and hopefully they come around to be fed. There is a dive master in the water standing up. This is in like 25 feet of water. And we had 12 nurse sharks around his feet because they're trying to get to the can that holds the food. The dive master hates them because they can get really annoying and try to suck the food out through the holes in the bait can. And so he has to control them. There are also bull sharks going around. But 95% of the time, a hammerhead would show up. And they know him by name. There are 3 regulars that come. There's one huge female, and that who is on the thumbnail. And then there's 2 smaller males. So you go out on the boat, and then you probably want to bring a book or something to while away the time, because you might have to wait for them to show up. They put bait in the water, and then it drifts, and the hammerheads are used to the boats being there in that particular place. And once they catch scent of the food, 1 or more of these 3 hammerheads, from what they tell me, show up 95% of the time. But you might have to wait for them to show up. So when we went out, we had an 11 o'clock boat. It took us 20 minutes to get to the site. And then about 2 hours later, after waiting on the boat, we got the clear from the handler that was in the water that a hammerhead had shown up and it's time to put your gear on and jump in. So they have big poles. You can see them in the thumbnail to help anchor you. And if they're coming close to you, you hold the pole out. And if they're going to knock something, they will knock that. And it's also the same thing for bull sharks. I saw a few. There were a lot, near the surface when we first arrived. But this particular dive shop does not feed the bull sharks. And so they eventually, most of them went away. And the nurse sharks still gathered because they want to siphon food that filters out through the holes in the bait can. So that was kind of exciting to see this whole swarm of bull sharks that stuck around for maybe 45 minutes on the surface, and then the nurse sharks were in the sand below them. But after a 2-hour wait, we got the thing. Okay, it's time to jump in. And so you jump in, the poles they've already put into place in a semicircle from where the handler is going to hold out a dead fish or a piece of a fish and wave it in the air. And then this monster of a hammerhead would come through and grab it. And she came around, like he'll swing his arm around, so she will move closer to us. And we're pretty darn close behind that handler. And she curved her body to avoid us. This is that cute. Look at the thumbnail. This shark is huge. So it was just wonderful. They are magnificent, and they're not aggressive. The bulls stayed away. If they get close, then the handler knocks on the bait can, and the noise scares them away. He didn't have to do that. I only saw one around, and it pretty much stayed on the perimeter. So that's it. I only saw one hammerhead. I got cold. I get cold kind of easily. I had a 5 mil. This is February, and the water temp was 79 to 80. I had 5 mil suit on, and I also had a heated vest that goes underneath my wetsuit. It's by Thermulation. You can get them on Amazon. Highly recommend it. It keeps your core warmer. But when you do these dive sharks, you stay in one place. And so you're not moving around to build up any body heat. So 45 minutes was as long as I could stand. And so then you have the anchor line, and you go up the rope, and there's people there to help you up because you're overweighted. I was about 6 pounds more weight than I normally am because they don't want you drifting away and end up around too close to the sharks or get in the shark's way while they're, circling around. So after I came up, one of the males showed up. So for a period of time, they had 2 hammerheads come in towards the handler, and a tiger shark stayed in the periphery, which I also didn't see because I was already on the boat. But it's a great day. The dive is on the expensive side because you can sit out there for a while. So it's really, it's there. It's the handler. It's got a lot of guts to go out there. But the hammerheads are non-aggressive. It's just the huge body. You're kind of afraid it may swipe you, but I'm telling you, she curved her body and just went off. And that was repeated passes, repeated getting fed in those 45 minutes. And it was one of the most marvelous experiences of my life. So hop on a ferry, go over there, take the ferry back, right? There's no limit in terms of the time you can travel because you're going by boat, right? You're not catching a plane. So there's no delay time between the time that you can come home. If you want to stay in the resort, the Big Game Resort, it's not bad. It's older, but the rooms were very clean. Food's really expensive. So just keep that in mind if you're doing the budget. My dinner there was 85 bucks, and it was mahi-mahi and sweet potato fries and a couple of drinks. That was $85. So plan ahead, but that's my Bellaria fast ferry to Bimini. It also goes to Freeport, Bahamas, where they have a feeding with Caribbean reef sharks that I went to in December. So I'm doing a lot of shark diving lately. All right, I will talk to you next week. Bye.